Good morning, pre-algebra students. I wanted to go over lesson 6.4 with you today. It's on page 237 in your book. You're going to be evaluating algebraic expressions today. Okay, I want to go over a couple examples with you. We've got 2xy. Now let's review a minute our rules in algebra. When you see numbers and variables and there is no sign in between them, no addition sign or subtraction sign or anything like that, it means we multiply those all together. Okay, well, here we have two variables, but I'm giving you what the variables are equal to. So the first thing you need to do is replace those variables with their value, what they're equal to. So we're going to be multiplying 2 times x. Now x is equal to 1/3. Okay, and then we're going to be multiplying it by what y is equal to, which is 5/7. Okay, now remember, when you multiply fractions, everything has to be in fraction form. Now this is a whole number. If you remember correctly, the way to make a whole number a fraction is just to put a 1 underneath it. Okay, and that changes it to a fraction. Okay, so now we have our problem. Okay, we're going to multiply our numerators. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. And now multiply our denominators. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21. So there's our answer. Okay? All right, that's our first example. Let me do another one with you today. And again, you can watch these if you need to go over it a little bit slower. Okay, now we're going to do x over y plus 3 times y over z. Okay, now let me give you what the variables are equal to. X is equal to a -3, y is equal to 4, and z is equal to 7. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is replace our variables with what their value is. Okay, so for our x, it's equal to -3 over our y, and our y is equal to 4. Okay, then we're going to add to that, we're going to take our 3 and multiply it by what y is equal to, which is a 4, and then put that over what z is equal to, which is 7. Okay, so the only thing we've done so far is replaced our variables with what their value is. Okay, now you remember also when you add fractions, they have to have the same denominator. And so you've got to find the least common multiple, which will be the least common denominator. Now, you remember I've taught you 2 ways to do that. You can write down your 4 and your 7, and you can start counting by those 2 numbers until you come to the first one they have that's alike. And that's a pretty simple way to do it when you have smaller numbers. If you get into the larger numbers, you need to find your prime factorization, use your factor trees and factor it out, and then find your least common multiple that way. Okay? Let me go ahead and write this problem going down. It's the best way to do it when you've got to change your denominators. Okay, so I found that my least common denominator is a 28. Okay, now first of all, let's go ahead and multiply this out. Our 3 times 4 is 12. So we've got that as a 12 now. Okay, now we're going to change our denominators. So we know 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, so if that got multiplied by 7, this had to get multiplied by 7. And a -3 times 7 is a -21. Don't forget, if you have negatives, a negative times a positive is a negative answer. Okay, so now we know 7 times 4 is 28. So 12 times 4 is 48. Okay, now let's remember that we're adding here. Okay, but when we're adding a positive and a negative integer, we've got to subtract those 2 numbers. So we've got to subtract our numerators here. So we have a 48 minus a 21, which gives us a 27, and then over our 28. But you say, well, how do we know if our answer is negative or positive? When you're taking a positive and a negative and adding those together, you subtract those numbers, and the sign is going to be what the larger number was, okay? And our larger number is positive, so your answer will be positive, okay? All right, that's the 2 examples that I'll do with you today. When you do your skill check, if you'd like to take a picture of your answers and send them to me through email, or if you would like to type your answers for your skill check and email those to me, I'll be glad to check them for you to make sure that you're doing it correctly before you go on and do your assignment, okay? Now, there is one more example in your book on page 237. I would like you to go through that step by step and see if you're able to do that problem, okay? All right. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.